The iPhone 14 Pro is here, but does an always-on display, a brand new dynamic island notch, or the new 48 megapixel camera warrant an upgrade. The iPhone 14 Pro includes a brand new A16 Bionic processor, which gives it about a 9% improvement in single core and 18% improvement in multi-core. With the new A16 Bionic, the iPhone 14 Pro performs like a champ, moving in and out in between apps, and performing like the flagship device that it should be. It also includes a 6.1-inch ProMotion display that goes up to 120 Hz, but now can go up to 2000 nits of brightness for great outdoor usage. The included 5G modem also works well, getting super fast speeds on T-Mobile's 5G network. New to the iPhone 14 Pro is an always-on display, which lowers the refresh rate down to 1 Hz to continuously show your wallpaper, clock, and widgets. It's a good feature to have and doesn't use a lot of extra battery power. Another feature exclusive to the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max is the Dynamic Island, which is a Face ID module and a camera module combined with a new graphic interface that lets you touch to expand and dissolve the island while giving you notifications, phone calls, and other alerts. However, the usage of the dynamic island was not entirely consistent. For example, if you set a timer, the dynamic island will expand, and when you long press it, it turns into a widget, which you can pause and have your timer on hold. However, if you do this same functionality to the podcast, hold the podcast widget, and pause your podcast, the dynamic island dissolves entirely and does not hold your place in the podcast. In addition, the dynamic island cutout is a big distraction when watching movies full screen. The 14 Pro and Pro Max also include a 48 megapixel main camera sensor that increases the detail and allows users to capture footage in 48 megapixel ProRAW format. The 48 megapixel camera can take very high quality photos, though the new 2x lens, which is a crop of the 48 megapixel image, can be darkened after post-processing. Low-light photos also look great on all lenses, though the detail could be enhanced. Also, the 14 Pro's photonic engine can overprocess photos, like this one, which is too sharp and too bright. The upgraded cinematic mode looks great, and users can now film in full 4K at 30 frames or 24 frames per second. However, the new action mode, which films at 2.8K, looks very similar to standard stabilized video. Unfortunately, the iPhone 14 Pro no longer includes a SIM tray, which was standard in all previous iPhones. So when you go to a foreign country, you can no longer land at the airport and purchase a SIM card and place it into your phone. Instead, users now have to find out if the country that they're going to has an eSIM availability for their carrier, or carry an extra phone that has an old SIM slot. Despite the new features like an always-on display, the new dynamic island interface, and a brand new 48 megapixel camera, the iPhone 14 Pro doesn't seem like the major upgrade that it sounds like. After a few days of usage, I quickly forgot about the always-on display, never really used the dynamic island, and found that most of the photos looked like my old photos from the last iPhone. Combine that with the fact that the phone is difficult to use due to its weight and its size of the camera bumps on the back, I have decided to leave the dynamic island and head straight back to my old iPhone. For more videos, hit subscribe, and for more news and reviews, head to news.punchjump.com.